I kind of left you guys hanging for a while there. About that. I actually was having issues with my teeth and had to get a couple of them removed, so I was kind of swollen like a balloon for a while and a lot of pain. So thank you for being so patient and bearing with me for that little absence, but I do intend to start streaming and doing more photo shoots here beginning in the near future to get back into things. This is going to be a special edition stream. I am going to be doing kind of a combo since I haven't done my Q&A video yet this month. It's going to be that I've received throughout the month from my Patreon supporters and from my social media accounts, so I'm going to be answering those while also playing Final Fantasy IX. So hopefully you won't be too bored and we can get some of those questions out of the way and also show this amazing game off. So I do have this set of questions. If you happen to have any questions throughout the stream, throw them in the chat box and I will try to get to them as well throughout the stream. And of course, for future videos and Q&As, if you see this on YouTube later at a time, you can always put questions in the comments of there as well, so I will put them in there for my next Q&A video. And as always, a special thanks to my Patreon supporters, Brandon Brema, Mike Baki, Patrick Cooper, and Just a Nerd. You guys are amazing and have held with me even with my absence, so I definitely appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And of course, anyone who wants to start supporting me on Patreon, you do get little extras, Patreon exclusive pictures and kind of behind the scenes looks, as well as extra updates on things going on in my life that you won't really see on social media. So if you want to check that out, it is DeWideFawn on Patreon. Yes, this is a pink shirt. Thank you for noticing. It is one of my favorites. And for those wondering, the dental pain, it was because one of my wisdom teeth actually kind of grew in at like a weird angle, and it ended up cracking the tooth that was next to it. And it literally shattered my tooth and was causing an immense amount of pain. And when they went to remove the shattered tooth, they had to remove the wisdom tooth as well because they were pretty much adhered together by that point. So I had to get the two teeth removed right here. Thankfully, nothing in the front area, but it was a lot of pain. I was in pain for at least a good week before I actually knuckled down and went to the dentist, and it was a good maybe week and a half that I was in immense pain. My whole cheek was swollen, so I didn't want to look like a hamster that ate a bunch of nuts or anything, and it was pretty hard and difficult to talk for a while there, so that's why I wasn't able to get on stream, unfortunately. The pain itself has subsided for the most part. I do get a little bit of pain sometimes when I eat certain things like cereal or whatever, but they said that's normal and it should pretty much subside within the next week or so. Yeah, teeth implants I'm sure are not that great. I still do technically need to get my other 3 wisdom teeth removed, and I'm not really looking forward to that. I mostly just wanted to get the ones that were causing pain to be yanked out at that second. So I got those taken out, thankfully, and hopefully it won't cause pain. Eventually I will get the other ones done. So we did just enter into the village of Dali. We're just gonna make sure we don't have any mail from our Moogle. This guy is shady already, we know that. Anytime you see the active time events come up in Final Fantasy IX, you want to try to watch as many of them as possible. If you end up watching all of them in the game, you do get a trophy or an achievement depending on what console you're playing it on. And my first question for the Q&A is, do I have a fascination with belly buttons? I do really like belly buttons and stomachs. I know mine is probably one of my favorite assets in the entire me. I really like my eyes, and my stomach has always been one of my like best like physical features that I've always kind of had a thing for. It is one thing that I always look at for other people when you look at them in certain like artistic poses and modeling and everything, so it is kind of like a little fascination. It's by no means kind of like a sexual thing. It's just I find the aesthetic of stomachs really appealing. And when I was in high school, I did have a surgery. It was an endoscopy. I'm not sure if I said that right, but it's pretty much where they actually insert a camera directly into your belly button and look around, and I actually had that done, so I know no one can really see it, but there is a tiny scar in the absolute like middle of my belly button from when I had that done in high school. So that's probably where some fascinations of stomachs come into. Yes, Nathaniel, the Muggles here are a little bit different than they are in Final Fantasy XIV. They are kind of more, I don't know, plushy looking, where in Final Fantasy XIV they're a lot smaller and, I don't know, I guess more cute. But they are more kind of like little teddy bears in here. Favorite female stomachs in fiction and anime. Obviously, I do like Mila Jovovich's version of like Ultraviolet in the movie. In anime, I think not Final Fantasy. I'm playing Final Fantasy. But I think in Fairy Tail, especially, they spend a lot of time on female stomachs. And I know my favorite from that anime would be Kana, because hers is very like tan and like a nice little caramel macchiato skin, and the attire that she's always wearing, it just accentuates it, and you can always see like the lines like around her stomach, and I think hers is probably like top tier of that anime. Top 3 underrated YouTubers. Well, it would be cheating if I said myself, so we're not gonna do that. I know my favorite ones would be CreepsMcpasta, who I know he does game streaming and he is on Instagram and everything, especially with his little fluffy white dog that he has, but on his YouTube channel he actually just narrates creepypastas. And I actually listen to those at night when I'm going to sleep. It's kind of like a nice soothing like little story time that I always listen to in the middle of the night before I go to sleep. Also, ImoriStar is pretty much the same concept. She does creepypastas, and I love listening to her voice. And I don't think I have a voice to do creepypastas, so I definitely appreciate it when you can actually hear the story and like envision it happening. And she's amazing, and she actually does cosplay and modeling and everything as well, like especially on her Instagram. Like, she's amazing, and her YouTube channel is just the narrations. So it's like on YouTube you get her narrations, and then on Instagram you see this really pretty face, and she's really good at cosplay, and it's just astounding. And my third one would probably be Edward Avila, and he is a like beauty YouTuber, so he mostly deals with like makeup and mostly like K-beauty and stuff, but he's one of my favorites as well. What Final Fantasy class do you think you would be? That's kind of tricky, because whenever I play like Final Fantasy games, whether it be like Final Fantasy Tactics, or I just recently started playing Final Fantasy XIV again, like my like class that I always prefer to go into is like a rogue ninja assassin sort of category. but in real life I know I wouldn't be able to do anything with that. So I think in real life I would probably be like a cleric or white mage sort of deal. So I think that's what I would probably physically be able to do more than anything. But when I'm actually playing games, I normally choose to be like a rogue. Do you have any non-gaming hobbies? I do actually. A lot of them do kind of revolve around gaming, but I like to read, and I like to watch anime and read manga, and I spend an awful lot of time on like Netflix and Hulu, like watching shows and movies and stuff. I always like to kind of watch like criminal shows like Forensic Files, CSI, that sort of thing. Why did you pick the names for your dogs that you did? So I have 2 dogs, if people don't know already. I have a Shiba Inu, that's name is Kokori, and I have a Pomsky, and her name is Ari. And Kokori, I named her technically off of an anime that I really loved, and it's Gogori Kokori, and it's based off of like the Japanese, kind of like almost like a Ouija board sort of deal. It's a fox spirit, and you're supposed to be able to contact him. And in the anime that I watched that kind of let me know about it, it is a little fox spirit, and when he goes into his normal form, he's adorable and he looks like a little fox, and that's what I thought my Shiba Inu looked like, so that's why I named her Kokori. And the Pomsky's name is Ari, and it is based off of Ari from League of Legends. So if you don't know, League of Legends is a PC game, and a little fox girl who, I think she has 9 tails in total, but she walks around and she's really cute, and she's a fox spirit as well. So that's why we named the Pomsky that. The ninja in Final Fantasy XIV you're enjoying. I am too. I finally got to level 60 in ninja, so I'm definitely looking at getting that to 70 as soon as possible. I need to work on my crafting though. Have you ever gone out of state for a photo shoot? When I first started modeling, I actually did a couple different shoots in California, and I didn't live out there at the time or anything. So when I traveled out there for kind of like a vacation, I did like a couple little shoots up there when I was traveling, and I haven't really done any out of state for the most part since then. I mostly have just been staying in Arizona, and I'm not opposed to going to other states. It just depends on what it's for and if it's worth going out of state for it, pretty much. Favorite type of weather? Well, definitely not summer heat in Arizona. I think it was 118 yesterday, and it was not cool. I was gonna die. I think I do kind of like more when it rains. Like when it gets monsoon season here, it's really nice because even if it's not raining, it's just really nice out, and there's wind, and yes, there's humidity, but that's okay. I don't mind it literally at all. Do you have any deer antlers or hats? Surprisingly, no. I have a lot of things that are more of like cat ears related. I don't really have a ton of ears other than cat ear related. I do have like some little like mouse ears, but other than that, I don't really have anything. I definitely should get some deer antlers or hats. I think that would just be perfect for me. I love them. You had to cancel a few streams with short notice. What gives? Again, I do have to apologize about that. I did explain a little bit about a lot of it being because of my teeth. My mouth was so sore before and even after I got my teeth removed. So it was just so much pain. Literally anytime I even tried to open my mouth to talk, like it almost made me in tears. So I wasn't able to really get into streams for that pretty much reason. It was just way too much pain. If I do cancel in the future, and also sometimes in the past I have had to cancel because of it, I do also have 3 heart conditions, and I get very dizzy and I actually get in a lot of pain, like my chest pains and everything. So it's really hard for me to do anything when that happens, when I'm really lightheaded and I'm in a lot of pain, and it's just kind of obnoxious. So I do apologize for having to cancel a couple times because of that. I really try to not let it get in the way, but sometimes it really does just kind of pile on, and I just don't feel like doing literally anything instead of just being in bed all day. So I do apologize if that happens in the future. I really am going to try to make sure that it doesn't happen nearly as often as it has lately. For right now, my heart conditions are stable. I have 3 in total, and all of them are technically ones that can be stabilized with like a certain diet and also with medications, and I am trying to keep that up. I have been working on the diet portion, and of course I always do take the medication that's required for it. So it's just sometimes they do still cause a lot of pain even with the medication. So it does cause some issues, and to be honest, heat actually makes it a lot worse. It just completely knocks me out sometimes, and I've actually, I don't really do it much anymore, but my heart conditions do cause me to black out, and it hasn't really happened a lot lately, but with the heat being so bad and with my heart conditions, it does make it so that sometimes I do end up blacking out, and when it's Arizona in the summertime, it does make me feel a million times worse than I normally should be. I can exercise, but it's not really something that I can do. Like, I'm not going to be able to lift a bunch of weights or anything like that. I do try to do like a little bit of cardio because it does help try to strengthen my heart. But I mostly just focus on like yoga and mostly just like a lot of stretching, a little bit cardio here and there, but other than that, not really. It's not like huge, like strenuous working out. What is your ideal date? To be honest, good food. Like, really, if there's good food, it doesn't really matter what we do. Like, I really just want to eat something delicious. If you want to go to a movie afterwards or something, or go to like an arcade or something, like that's awesome, but like food, tastiness, that's definitely one of the main things that I look for. Let's see. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? To be honest, I would probably want one horse-sized duck, because for one thing, that sounds adorable and terrifying at the same time. And secondly, if I can get that one duck tired, it would be a lot more of an advantage than trying to make 100 horses tired, because they could always like have a couple of them attack me while a couple of them rest up, and I'm not okay with that. I mean, there is a lady who, she literally got killed by, I think it was 6 or 7 weenie dogs. And that literally, not even lying, that just happened not even like a couple months ago, and it was just because they were attacking her. Even though they were small and tiny and adorable, they all ganged up on her and she couldn't take it. So I would much rather have one opponent than 100. And yes, Nate, they do still have arcades. I mean, they're probably meant for children, but that doesn't stop me from going there. I mean, there are things like Dave and Buster's and everything, so those are technically meant for older individuals who want to play in arcades. What is your favorite smell? If it's to do with like my smell, the perfume I normally have as like my go-to is Juicy Couture Viva La Juicy. If it's just like any smell that I find like appeasing, would probably be when I make Thanksgiving dinner and the whole house smells like food. I'm pretty easy. Food is always like my main point of interest, so anytime I can get food in there is a good time. What are your thoughts on the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole? If it's one of those things like, am I for or against it? I mean, I'm definitely for it. I mean, Final Fantasy has been with me pretty much my entire like gaming life. It's some of the first RPGs I've ever played, and there are a couple ones that aren't really that great. Like, I'm not really a fan of Final Fantasy X Part 2. I know a lot of people are, but it's not really my type of game. But I mean, a lot of this and everything are just amazing and iconic, and like this one, a lot of people haven't really ever played it. And I think it's really nice and classic. And I think it's really amazing, and Final Fantasy Tactics is really amazing. And like I said, I just started playing Final Fantasy XIV again since the first time when it came out, and I'm finding things in that are really like nostalgic, and they have locations that were in previous Final Fantasy games, and it kind of makes you remember what it was like when you first played it. So it's really kind of a nice thing. I definitely appreciate it. A bread summoner is probably the perfect counter class against all duck foes. You're probably right. Definitely need a bread summoner if I get attacked by any ducks in the near future. I am excited about the Final Fantasy VII remake. I feel like it's kind of been a long time coming, so there's always going to be that excitement for it. I'm interested to see what it's actually going to be like. So, I mean, from what I've seen so far of it, I like it. I mean, it seems like it is trying to be pretty close to the original, just with updated like mechanics and obviously a visual upgrade besides just a few little pixels that pretty much look like little Minecraft people. So, I mean, that's always nice. But until I actually play it, then I'm not really going to have that great an opinion of it. I actually was just looking at like the videos that they had for the remake of Resident Evil 2, and it looks like it's going to be a really good game. But I am kind of disappointed because the actual, like, Resident Evil 2 game, to me, like, the mechanics and everything were really good. And I enjoyed it, and I thought they were kind of just going to do the same exact thing and just update the graphics. But they never really did that. They're kind of doing a completely different game now, and it looks like that would be good, I guess, but it's not really gonna give me that, like, nostalgia factor that I would want from a remake. So I've been kind of running my mouth through this whole time, but pretty much Vivi got kidnapped and we're trying to find him again in this shady underground place below this farming village. It still gives me a laugh every time I see the name. The blonde boy's name is Zidane, and I still haven't watched Ruby. I'm sorry. I will get on to that, I promise. I love chocobos. I've spent entirely too much time in this game and in, like, Final Fantasy VII and in Final Fantasy XIV raising chocobos and racing them, getting pretty colored chocobos. See, and that's why we always ask if they need mail. It would be interesting if they had some Final Fantasy VII characters as bosses for Final Fantasy XIV. I know they had kind of like an event going on when I wasn't playing, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to play it. But there was an event for Final Fantasy Tactics a while back, and it actually had kind of like a spin-off tie-in to, like, the original game. And unfortunately I missed that. I feel like I should be able to get up there to get to that other chest. I think I missed it. Oh. jump down. Well, that's a waste. I thought that was just something else. Oh well. This was originally on the first PlayStation. It was a PS1 or PXX game. Poor Beauty. He's just trying to live his life. And for those wondering, my dogs are around here somewhere, but they are passed out, so they did not want to hang with me while I'm playing my games. I like that he's trying to teach him how to defend himself. Get off me, you scumbag. Because I'm sure that's what people say in real life. Yeah, 118 degrees is not cool. Like, literally. I went to take out the trash yesterday and I literally felt my skin starting to burn. And I decided I was not going to be going out anytime during the day as much as I can try to not. This generally means monsters, but I know there's stuff in here that we want to get to. And I have finished with the questions that I had compiled for the month, so if anyone has any other questions that they wanted to know before the stream's up, just throw any questions in the chat and I will try to answer them. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want to go to Anime Expo. I know the Phoenix Comic Con just changed their name for the 4th time. It used to be the Phoenix Sororo Con or something, and then it went to Phoenix Comic Con, and then they started getting sued by San Diego Comic Con because it's trademark. So then they went to Phoenix Fan Fest or something, or no, it was Phoenix Comic Fest or something like that, and it didn't sound right, so they changed it again to be Phoenix Fan Fusion, and apparently they think that sounds better, but I don't. I just wish they would do it during the cooler months. I mean, it is Arizona, so I really wish that they would make it cooler. They always have it during Memorial Day weekend, and it's so hot out, especially if you're doing actual cosplay and you're there for literally the entire day and waiting for hours and hours for them to even open and to get in there. Then it's just kind of obnoxious when it's that hot out. I mean, people in their outfits were literally passing out because they couldn't take it. and it's kind of not a good idea for them to do it in such great weather. Yes, Mishi, I love this game. Definitely one of my favorites. Ooh, there's something else. So this kind of reminds me of, in Final Fantasy XIV, amount that I got for, like, signing up for the game is the Fat Chocobo. And it has a thing of Gashel greens, like, on a stick. And you literally wave it in front of its nose for it to be able to walk and everything. And that's, like, its encouragement for you to be able to ride it. And that's what that reminds me of. That's hilarious. I love Fat Chocobo. When I first actually was able to get them out, for those that don't know, when you're playing Final Fantasy XIV, you can't actually get a mount until I believe you're rank 30, or no, rank 20. And so when I finally got to rank 20 and I was able to ride my mount and I summoned my Fat Chocobo mount for the first time, it was hilarious because if you make it like jump or something, it goes like and it's hilarious because it just like wiggles, and I was cracking up just repeatedly making it jump for like maybe half an hour. So remember, whenever you're playing Final Fantasy IX, you want Zidane to steal literally as much as you can. Because later on in the game, how many times you've stolen or attempted to steal throughout the game, it really like helps one of your main attacks. I feel bad for Vivi. The first time I played this game, I felt so bad for him. I still feel bad for him. He's pretty much finding out that he's a magic doll. It's true, a sentient magic doll is no small feat, but I still feel bad for him. I'm busy. Yay. More money. No, I don't want coffee. I don't have time for this. Tell me! He's like a little kid. So polite. It's true. It's not a time to stop and smell the coffee. I actually can't have coffee, unfortunately. I used to be able to drink it, but I can't anymore because of the ticker problems. I normally have to just drink tea for the most time, and I can have like 1 to 2 sodas a day, but I can't have any energy drinks anymore. I can't have coffee. I can't have like an excessive soda or anything like super like caffeinated. So unfortunately, I'm cut off to that point. I like hot chocolate though. Do I want to poke it or observe? Let's poke it. Hot cocoa is really good, especially when you add extra marshmallows. I drink tea every once in a while. I can't really have green tea all that much because that is kind of like a natural caffeine sort of thing. But I have like white tea every once in a while and like chamomile tea or whatever when I'm trying to go to sleep. I swear I'm not an old lady. How do you have coffee by accident? Don't you generally know what it is? The old man in the shack told me, so it must be true. Oh, I see. You ordered something and didn't know it had coffee in it. There's always 3 waltzes. Stay there while I kill the others. Let's see, we want him to steal. unfortunate. Ouch. And she's gonna heal nothing. Oh, he's almost dead. That's rude. Also rude. So we're done stealing, so now we can focus on everything else. Now everyone should be pretty decent right now. Stop killing my little Vivi. Okay, everyone stay alive this time. And for those wondering, I can't like attack him directly or else he does like a really bad move or something from what I can remember. What? everyone stop dying, please? He dies so quickly. This is gonna be bad. We have to count. Yay! We didn't die this time. He's kind of one of them. There's 3 of them in total. He's one of the bosses. Go get some items. Just checking the equipment for everything, see how we're progressing. I miss these menus too. I feel like everything's super updated now. I miss the like nostalgia of it. I think we have all of our abilities equipped already. So we should just rest up at the inn and then head up. I had it 100% when it was on the first PlayStation. I don't have it yet on this actual file. I know there's a lot to do in it. There's one where it's kind of like a speed run where you have to finish the entire game in 4 hours to get one of Steiner's weapons. It's the Excalibur 2. And you have to literally like rush through it. But I haven't done that yet for this PS4 version. Let's see if he has login. Nope. The background art is really nice. I think they did a good job on updating it. Now let's leave the village of Dali. Actually, I think there might be more. I don't remember if we talked to the old guy in the mountain about his coffee yet. Because I know there's like a side quest for it. Okay, so we activated that side quest. Pretty much if you find these very rare particulars of coffee, you bring them back to him, and he gives you the thing. The theater ship. Take that. Yay. Okay, now we can go on the airship. Trixies. For anything on the PS4, I just use the broadcasting that comes with the PS4. It's just the broadcast gameplay. I have the PlayStation camera hooked up so that you could see the interface of me. And I just use, I mean, the camera has microphones on it, but the quality of it isn't really that great, so that's why I use the headset with it. Whenever I do stuff on the PC, I use XSplit. Just straight up grabbed your ass. It's not like I did it on purpose. Uh-huh. Can't really blame them though. Wow, already? Jeez. He's trying so hard. They're just dolls. Aw, that's a ripoff. Take it doesn't want to talk to me either. Yeah, Zidane's outfit you get as a veteran reward in Final Fantasy XIV. It goes Cloudstripe's outfit, Zidane's outfit, the Wild Rose outfit, and then Squall Leonhardt's outfit. That's what I'm here for. Random pieces of information. Well, you're definitely missing out if you never played any of the previous Final Fantasy games. I know they're different than just the, like, MMORPG, but they're still really good. They're very classic. He wants to have him imprisoned. That's the right thing to do. Black Waltz number 3. Is that you? Larry is just staring at him like, I mean, he is like a monkey. This is actually one of like the sadder scenes in this game. And of course they have to do it like in slow motion too. Baby's all angry. Try not to crash. No big deal. There's like a little mage hat on the side of the ship. He's angry. Chance is over. At least he's not countering my magic this time. That was really obnoxious. And we're not done stealing yet. I didn't finish stealing from him. Oh well. You scum. I'm gonna start saying that to people now when they make me mad. There's only 3 waltzes. It sounds like the ship is going to collapse into itself. These guys. They're so annoying. Run Do you even have parachutes or anything? Punch it. Poor Dali. He's in shock. You did that to yourself. Well, that gate's gonna need to be fixed. And then it goes to this like calm, soothing music. That's what she said. Hi, baby. Hi. Miss Ari, say hello. Per usual. Hi. Why does he care about the cargo? Hi, baby. Hi. Hello. Just nervous getting to get close. Ouch. We made it. So much lead up. And with that, I think we will call this stream done for the day. So as I said before, I do apologize for not being on the regular stream schedule. As of late, I did have to wait for my teeth to heal. And now that I am feeling better, hopefully I can do it on a more consistent basis. So thank you all for bearing with me for that. And again, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, Brandon Brema, Mike Baki, Patrick Cooper, and Just a Nerd. You guys are always amazing. Thank you for those that watched me during the live stream, and thank you to anyone who watches it on YouTube at a later date. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you guys will come back to see further installments of this. Thank you so much, everyone.